As president is to defend our great country and the American people.
The president of Venezuela, Nicolas Maduro, during the celebration of the anniversary of the Battle of Carabobo in the Venezuelan War of Independence, announced the possibility of holding a referendum on the resignation of the president, in accordance with the Constitution of the Bolivarian Republic, according to which it is allowed to hold a referendum on the early termination of the powers of the president after half of the term after his election. Given that Maduro took office on January 10, year 2019, collecting signatures for a referendum on revoking Maduro's mandate can begin as early as January 10, year 2022.
Y si el pueblo recoge las firmas suficientes, como exige la Constitución, para un referendo revocatorio, iremos a referendo revocatorio a medirnos en las urnas electorales.
Recall that after the legitimate re-election of Nicolas Maduro, anti-government actions were held in Venezuela, after which the head of the country's opposition, Juan Guaido, declared himself acting president. The United States, members of the Lima Group, except Mexico, the Organization of American States, and most European Union countries recognized Guaido as the temporary leader of Venezuela. German Chancellor Angela Merkel said in her official video podcast in the federal government's website, "We want to work together to rebuild Europe." Merkel sees overcoming the COVID-19 pandemic and its consequences as a key task of Germany's European Union presidency, which begins on July 1st. She said that she will make every effort to support the President of the Council of the European Union, Charles Michel, informing the new European Union budget and taking measures as soon as possible to restore the growth of European economy and ensure social cohesion. In addition, from the Chancellor's point of view, Europe faces three key challenges. First is to achieve climate neutrality to slow climate change. In second, ensuring digital sovereignty, because as Merkel said in a direct quote, "The last few weeks have shown many of us how useful digitization can be in everyday life, as well as how dependent Europe is in this area." Third, to make Europe more capable of acting externally to protect European values and interests in the world.
Ich bin davon überzeugt, wir können in Europa die Krise überstehen und uns gleichzeitig zukunftsfähig machen. Darum werden wir nach vorne schauen und an 3 Schlüsselherausforderungen unserer Zeit arbeiten.
Merkel stressed that Germany's goal is to ensure a cohesive and unified European Union presence, especially in relations with strategic partners such as China, Russia, the European Union and the United States. Merkel identified the unity of all 27 European Union members as the most important asset in further shaping relations with the United Kingdom. Merkel did not forget to remind in her podcast about the necessary measures to contain the COVID-19 pandemic, maintaining social distance, protecting the mouth and nose, and washing hands. During the video conference of the European Union Summit with the People's Republic of China, the head of the European Council, on behalf of the European Union governments, Charles Michel, expressed serious concern about the Hong Kong security law adopted in Beijing. In addition, according to the results of the summit, the head of the European Council noted that the negotiations covered specific topics from trade and investment to climate action and the digital field, Hong Kong and human rights, as well as issues related to COVID-19.
We focused on 4 important areas. The first one, COVID-19 and the economic consequences, the economic recovery. The second one is the EU-China relationship. The third one is Hong Kong and the important question for us of human rights. And the fourth topic is related to the international issues.
Against the backdrop of growing trade interdependence between the European Union and China, given that the restrictions of the framework of the pandemic have affected the supply of raw materials and goods and increased the European Union's dependence on China in strategic areas, the European Union continues to exert political pressure on China, accusing it of human rights violation in Hong Kong and spreading misinformation about COVID-19. On June 24, it was a meeting of the presidents of Poland and the United States. According to the head of Poland, this time there were no agreements, although both presidents are accustomed to this form of completion of negotiations. At the same time, the President Duda became the first president that has visited the White House during a pandemic. During the meeting, they discussed cooperation in the fields of science, economics, and long-term friendship based on partnership and shared values. But the key issue was the placement of American soldiers after their withdrawal from German territory. During his speech, the President Duda remained the terrible year 2014, when Russia attacked Ukraine, took Crimea, occupied Donetsk and Lugansk, and early attacked Georgia. Thanks to Article 5 of North Atlantic Treaty and the presence of American troops, and if some wants to attack Poland, it will not be easy.
Nie miałbym śmiałości powiedzieć prezydentowi Stanów Zjednoczonych, gdzie ma wysłać swoich żołnierzy, bo jest to decyzja zawsze, którą podejmują Stany Zjednoczone, decyzja niezwykle odpowiedzialna. Natomiast nie przeczę temu, że zwróciłem się do pana prezydenta z prośbą, aby z Europy sił amerykańskich nie wycofywał, bo bezpieczeństwo Europy jest dla mnie ważne. Z Europy jako takiej, z Europy Zjednoczonej, dla której amerykańska obecność od końca II wojny światowej stanowi w ogromnym stopniu gwarancję bezpieczeństwa. Natomiast jeżeli ktoś mnie pyta, czy jestem gotów, aby Polska przyjęła więcej amerykańskich żołnierzy w naszym kraju, tak, jestem gotów, aby ich przyjęła.
It should be noted that the issue of deployment of military forces has always been an acute issue. The red lines of the limits of NATO expansion were located on the territories of Ukraine and Georgia, and the suppression of these borders meant the intervention of Russia. This is what Russian Foreign Minister Lavrov warned in year 2008.